With an HDRI in this pipeline, the story changes a bit. That's what we're going to see now. First, you have to activate the HDRI plugin in Unreal and then add it to the scene. If this happens, just move your objects up a bit. Done. The exposure is like this because I am still using the post process from the last video. I will delete it and continue with the normal project settings. Auto exposure, and that's probably how you will see your scene. It would be possible to create an HDRI manually, but I don't recommend it because this plugin already has the recapture function in the skylight, and the skylight is already inside it. So there's much more than just a sphere with a nice texture applied. This recapture function is something you do manually, or you can enable the real-time capture option. We will not go into details now because it's a bit more complex than just plugging it in and forgetting what's happening. When you turn on the automatic, you lose some functions. And when you turn it off, you have to update it with each change of light. So we are going to ignore all of this, just to say that it's easier to use the plugin. It gives us a lot for free with its simple setup of a geometry with a texture and a skylight object. And thanks to this setup, any texture will already work. And any new light in the scene will be recaptured automatically for the new cube map. Cube map is what will actually illuminate the scene. It takes the information from those pixels, reduces the resolution, and lights your scene with them. Let's switch to a better HDR. Just remember to select the highest object in the hierarchy. And here we choose another HDR. I like Circus Maximus 2 4K. And it already lights up the scene thanks to the automatic setup. We don't need to specify the cube map in here. And as you can see, we don't have the sun. In any other program, an HDR of this intensity would already illuminate like the sun, but it's not like that in Unreal. We need to add the sun, and the easiest way is with a directional light. This light will represent the sun and the HDRI will represent the ambient light. I'm just going to try to rotate this sun to be more or less in the direction that we see in the background. The sun is coming from the left of my screen, more or less around here. Look at the tree shadows. Maybe it's even a bit more rotated. That doesn't matter now, but that's more or less it. And it already looks really cool. The ambient light through the skylight and the sunlight through the directional light. And even better, the default settings already work perfectly. The problem is that we know the sun does not have an intensity of 10 lux. It has an infinitely greater intensity of 100,000 lux. But when switching to this intensity, everything gets messed up. We need a system to compensate for this lighting and make everything work, because now Unreal is trying to expose to the ground. But the sky doesn't have the correct lighting, so everything is wrong. Let's set the sun to 100,000 lux and add a post-process volume and make it infinite. And both EV114. You can leave the exposure compensation at 0 or 1, but for us, it doesn't matter much. We know this is just an adjustment that comes at the end of the whole process. Just so I don't have to keep changing the material from gray to white and back, I leave it at 1. If we need to change one stop of exposure, I'll change it again. We already know how things work, so it's all doing that. The temperature of this light I will now set to 5600. So why is the sky all black? It's because of the sky texture intensity is thousands of times lower than it should be. In this simple light setup, we need to change the intensity not just of the sun, but also of the sky. At this stage, it is perfectly possible and acceptable to increase the skylight multiplier until you arrive at something pleasing. That's what I'm going to do to demonstrate. Select this and increase the intensity. Take a look. How much further will I have to go? I'm already at 10 times more, and it's still not enough. Could it be 100 times more? 1000 times more? Hey, it's getting somewhere now. You realize that just by judging with common sense what is happening, we will be able to achieve something that is very close to what it has to be in real life. I'm already at 6,000, maybe 8,000. What if I double this 8,000 and try 16,000? Look, it seems like it's correct now, right? And done, it's really that simple. That's it. We could extrapolate this idea to any other HDR. You just try until you find what looks good. But since we are learning, let's take a closer look. And just one more thing. Each time you double this intensity value, you are increasing one stop. I'll go back to 1,000 first. Now, if I set it to 2,000, it's one more stop. 4,000, another stop. 8,000, another stop. And with this mindset, we can predict a bit more about what is happening with the lighting. Let's see that eye adaptation tool one more time and try to understand what else it is telling us. I'm going to point the camera near the sun, and do you notice that there are two measurements in the center of the screen? The EV100, which is the lower number, we already know what it is. I hope you all can see, so I will leave it somewhere where it becomes a bit easier to see. 13.62. And as I mentioned, every time we double or cut in half, it will change by one stop. It means that if I take this number 16,000 and cut it in half, it will be one stop less. So this EV100 number needs to decrease by 1 unit. Right now it is at 13.69. I'll put 8,000 and now it is at 12.69. Therefore, 1 EV less and 1 stop less. As for the ent, we haven't seen it until now. The unit of this ent is candela per meter. On this Wikipedia page, we find the value of 100 kilolux for a sunny day. That is 100,000 lux, just like we saw before. And just below this luminance table are the measurements of the ents. The order of magnitude of light intensity in the real world is absurdly large. Have you ever stopped to think about that? Your common LCD monitor, 250 nits. A cloudy sky, 2000 nits. And a clear midday sky, 10,000 nits. The difference between them is enormous. Keep in mind that 10,000 is the sky and not the circle of the sun seen from Earth. The circle of the sun is 1.6 billion nits. I don't know why I laugh. It's such a gigantic number that it's actually funny. 1.6 billion nits. In any case, this scene is a sunny day but not exactly noon. The sun is already a bit more tilted. Well, using this tool and the intensity, let's try to reach between 2,000 and 5,000 nits. If I set the intensity to 20,000 now, notice that the horizon line is between 2,000 and 5,000 nits of intensity, and the sky just above between 900 and 2,000. In other words, in this specific scene, using these values would give us a good starting point. They would give us a physically accurate result and still leave room for artistic freedom. These values are the directional light between 80,000 and 100,000 LX, and the intensity of the backdrop between 15 and 20,000. Then you judge it based on your own taste. Maybe I'll set it here to 15,000, or the actual 16,000 that we had reached before. There's another practical rule for achieving a pleasant contrast, which is something we are trying to find all the time. It's the difference in stops between the shadow and the lit part. For example, on a bright day, we can consider that the difference between the sunny part of this sphere and the part in shadows is 4 stops of difference. If it were in the afternoon, it would be 3 stops, and at night 2 stops. So let's try using this idea. A light of around 80,000 LUX and the backdrop at 15,000 intensity units. If you haven't noticed yet, this backdrop doesn't have a unit of measurement. We have to use common sense or the nits to arrive at some value here. Let's check the difference in stops on this sphere. More or less here on the sunny side of the sphere, an EV100 of 17. And the shadowed part has an EV100 of 14. That is, from 17 to 14, a difference of 3 stops. We arrived at this general rule simply by using common sense. Here it's a bit different, but 15,000 is not so different from 16,000. And 100,000 is not that different from 80,000. I've said it several times, but it's worth repeating. These numbers and tables are just a starting point, so we can manipulate them based on our artistic intuition. And look at that, what a divine, beautiful, and transcendental thing. Tell me now if you understood these concepts that seemed all random and messy so far. Please send me a letter with the answer. With that, we conclude the heavier theoretical part and we can do some other studies. Congratulations to everyone who made it this far.